guys, welcome back. So I went to Logos and I tested out. I took the Stardust Submode deck, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited because like I wanted to test it. Cause I've been testing it for the past few weeks, and I've been liking how it's been performing. But last minute I changed the build, which is I'm a little bit half and half on. Like I was thinking like maybe this should be good because I was walking around. There were so many Dragon Links. And I was like, oh my god, so many combo decks, like what the hell. So I ended up going back to the, if you watched on Crush Card's channel, I posted up a build where it's really hand trap heavy. And that I kind of incorporated that back into the deck. Because before, the one I've been testing, I was testing the Mystic Mine, right? Because it's like a floodgate, you know, so it's like, it works really well at start mode. Because you can manipulate the way that your board presence, right? Because you only have one Omni Negate. And then during the end phase, right, let's assuming you have nothing in the field, they have one card in the field, it'll come back and then it'll pop itself, and then you can summon another Stardust summon the following turn. And even if you don't, then it just stays there and it studs you out until you generate enough resources. Of course, we all know that Burn utilizes this so it gives like a bad taste in your mouth, but like within this deck it should be fine. But let's get into the deck because the changes are quite noticeable. Okay, so first off, of course you play your triple Stardust Summon, your boss monster. By now, you guys should be aware of what this guy does. But for those of you that don't know what this guy does, it's an Omni Negate. This is the old text, but the new text says effect or activation or effect. So keep that in mind, okay? So you tribute itself and negate the activation or effect of a card or effect. And then if this card were to be destroyed on the field, you can special summon a Stardust Dragon from your graveyard, which is pretty epic, man. I used that effect quite a lot yesterday, which is pretty cool. So let's put it over here. Okay, so then we go to our engine cards, like our this is the one card Stardust Summon. This is how you make your Stardust Summon, right? Put it over here. You use Assault Sentinel, right? So what he does, he tributes himself to summon a card, a monster that lists a summon activate in its text from a hand or deck, which you just basically summon this guy. This is like the main one you summon. Okay, so what this one does, it's a Stratos for the deck. It lets you search. You can search this guy, which is amazing. It's for a following turn, but also it lets you search for a summon activate, which is how you make your one card start to summon. Tribute this, summon this. This adds this. And then the secondary effect is you can reveal this to special summon a monster with a summon activate in its text from your graveyard, which is how you make this guy, right? But once you use his effect, you're bound to only synchro summoning, so you can't do the help play, which would be insanely broken if this didn't have that restriction, because that increases consistency to do the help play. But I guess an Omni Negate isn't so bad with hand traps. It'll stall you enough for the following turn, so you can do that next turn, right? And then this guy has another effect. It's not really utilized, but you can target a card in the field, reveal an extra deck monster, and that monster becomes that attribute and type, which is it's pretty neat. But I haven't yet explored it to its full potential. But for now, it's just to get you the one card Omni Negate. Yeah. So that's your engine cards, right? Okay. And then you have, of course, I guess your secondary play, right? You play this guy because it's basically a level 8 synchro by discarding any card. But then this has a similar restriction to a Sentinel, where once you use its effect, you're bound to synchro summoning. So it's a little bit it can be a little bit annoying, but it's still nonetheless pretty amazing when you pair it up with this spell. Because if you open up these two, or if your Side Reflector searches this while you have this, which was happening a lot yesterday, which is pretty insane. So I would this searches this, and then this discards this, and then this when it's in the graveyard, you can banish it to set and a somewhat activate from your deck, and you can use it that turn. So you make a level 8 synchro, which is Stardust Dragon, and then you summon your Stardust Summon that turn. And then what was happening a lot as well is I would have Tanky. And Tanky would search the Assault Beast, right? The Assault Beast, and then I would have two Stardust Summons, turn 1, technically, right? But it was just so good. I was like, I was pretty impressed how well this deck performed. I was like, oh, it's not bad. Of course, I noticed some ththings that I want to change, and this is still a progress of how evolving this deck, right? Because if you guys watch the first videos, because this has been a segment of just trying to perfect this deck to have it be a viable option. But yeah, this card seems like it's a staple in the deck now, because for that particular reason, which is insane. And of course, you have like the hand traps, which is like what the route I chose last minute. This card was amazing, man. This card was so good. It helps that it's a dragon as well, which is really cool. And the fact that it's a level 7, it is 7, right? Yeah, 7. Because sometimes they'll ash this, or they imperm the Star Reflector, and you can make a level 8 Synchro there, and that's quite important. I was like, well, it actually matters. It's pretty cool, and it's just another body, and it's a +1, and it lets you just filter your hand, like return. If you draw these guys, if you draw your Stardust Summons, you can shuffle them back into the deck, or if you draw into your Summon Activate, you can shuffle those back into your deck, which is huge. Like, that's a big deal, dude. You do not want to see them in your hand, and that's what I really liked about this. And then to pair up this to make this shine even more, you play more hand traps, like an abundant amount of hand traps, because like I said, there's a lot of Dragon Links, and I wanted to be prepared if I go second, and this is just huge. Like this is paired up with Gamma, this is paired up with Imperm, this is paired up with Valor. Amazing. Like it lets you just let them do their whole board, and then towards the end you just Imperm Nibiru or Nibiru Gamma, and it was huge. It was super huge. Then of course the rest of your hand traps. You have Ash, generically good. It's good for talent. Like if they've used your Stardust Summon effect, and then go talents to draw 2 more cards, you just Ash it, which is insane. And then of course this card is like the staple hand trap of the deck, because it helps you push through your Summon Activate, and it gives you a level 8 Synchro, and it can be help material, right? It lets you make Haku Firebrax, because it's huge. Because like you tribute Assault Sentinel as cost, right? You tribute this guy as cost, and your field's cleared. So then you can use that if they ash you, which is insane. And then of course you have you have 6 more hand traps, which is an abundance. Like I said, it's an abundance amount of hand traps. You play a triple Valor. It lets you save your Omni Negates, which is really important. You don't want to be using your Stardust Dragon on just a bait. You know, you do not want that to happen. So this allows you to hold on to that negate as long as possible. Then you have your Garnets of the deck, right? You have your Driver, your Salt Beast. You only need one. You only need it for when you hard open Cyber Reflector, which is the little guy, right? When you open up this guy, or 1-for-1 or teleport, because you need a material to revive. So you add this, pitch it, and that's your material to revive. Playing multiples, I kind of see the justification. I was starting to, but the more I was playing it, I was like, no, I think one's enough. Then of course you have your Fire Ant, right? Fire Ant, because this is for the Gamma, this is for the Star Reflector, this is for the Dawnwalker, right? And this is your help targets, your Plague and your Mecha Phantom Beast Wallburn. So basically this is kind of the replacement for Line, because it gives you a token. Once you use that effect though, it can be quite annoying because you're bound to wins, but you can still make a Stardust Dragon, because like you make a formula with this and it gives you tokens. So you have a formula, 2 level 3 tokens, you can make Stardust Dragon there and then. But what I like to do is just hold off and synchro during your opponent's turn, so you can draw 2 more cards, which is huge. So that's the monster lineup, right? So it's really hand trap heavy, and it's a higher card count too, to kind of filter out the deck and not have the possibility of drawing into your Stardust Summons, right? Yeah. But I'm not sure if that was the correct play. I don't know. It was a bit weird, because there was something where I used so many hand traps, and then I didn't top deck this, or I didn't have the 1 card Omni Negate. So that was the kind of an issue, you know. But I don't know. But yeah, that's something I have to address. Triple tanky, you get to Assault Sentinel, right? It searches because it's a Beast Warrior, right? It searches this guy, and it searches your Salt Beast, which is something that kept coming up as well. And then you have your powerful 1-ofs, which is 1-for-1, teleport, Sire Reflector basically. Reborn your Stardust if you want to make double Stardust on turn 1. If you draw multiple Summon Activates, and it's just a good top deck. Like that's the whole point of the deck. You hand trap your opponent like 1-for-1ing, or like just try to sequence out your opponent's turn with your hand traps, and then like Reborn your Side Reflector. It's essentially a tanky. It's basically, you know, there's more ways to make it. And then Harpy Feather Duster, because it's an equalizer. You need these type of like things to blanket, because like 1-for-1ing your opponent, it's like it's okay, but unless you do the help play, you need to be able to have an equalizer, which is kind of why I want to play evenly again. Because in the past I was maining it evenly, so what does, like, it doesn't matter, because like you're gonna hand trap them, right? Your Stardust is off the field, right? And then when they either attack and with very like I guess not as critical damage as if you OTK you, then you just end the battle phase evenly, or just attack and then, you know, just set up the evenly that way, which is something that I keep wanting to go back to. And of course you have your one Call of the Grave. It's simply like Gamma. It stuffs Ash. And that's basically the main purpose. It's a fairly decent trap, I guess. But and then of course you have your one copy of this guy, because this guy paired up with the thing is amazing. I was playing 3 at first, but I think 1's more than enough. So I just that's just spelling it. Like that's all you need. It's very, very cool. Okay, so then you have your traps, which is the high impact, which is Strike. This card in this deck is simply amazing, right? It's like, cause like it's like a fallback. It's like hand rips are cool, no? Like it's cool. Like you can interact, but they keep the monster. Like they get to keep the monster, which is kind of annoying. Like if you Veiler, they keep the monster. Okay, they can do whatever they want with it. You Ash, okay, they keep the monster. They can do whatever they want with it. Like it's quite annoying. And like same thing with the Imperm, right? You Imperm them, they keep the monster, and they can do whatever they want with it, and that's kind of annoying. Which is what Strike is meant to be, like, not like that, right? So like if you attempt your play and it gets stopped, you set this and pass. This paired up with hand traps, right? Because you have an abundance amount of hand traps. And then the fact that you have so many ways to get to Reflector allows the dynamic to feel like on edge, and it gives you like the anticipation that you would typically have by I guess being conservative, if that makes sense, right? Like it lets you be like, okay, I don't really have to go all out now. I can like take it slow, and then let's see where he goes, and then I'll try to do like this I guess equalizer, right? Let's say they invest like a lot of materials to a link, then you strike that you +3 because they took 3-4 cards to make that particular card, right? And that's kind of what this is, and it helps against Ash as well. Like when they try to like Ash your somewhat activate, you'll set, and then this lets you get your Stardust somewhat out, which is huge. And then of course you have, last but not least, the main trap of the deck, which is somewhat activate, which is what gets you to your Stardust Assault mode, right? This guy summons that from deck. It's 6 bricks, which is why the card count is so high. You want to filter out the deck and not have so many garnets in your hand at once, right? Which is why Phantasm is in there. But like, I'm not sure if playing all these hand traps is needed. I don't know, like because before I wasn't even playing these guys. I was just playing just Gamma, Imperm, and Mystic Mind. So I'm not sure how the deck's gonna change, but like I noticed that I kind of want like the floodgate aspect of I guess approach, because it's really good for the 1-for-1ing. It lets you control the tempo much more. But that's the main deck. Okay, and then you have the side deck, which is triple this, because you can Black Rose, and that's huge. You can do that. You can go which is something I miss as well, like missing this and going Mystic Mind, then using up the negate, and then using another one, and then going Black Rose, and then setting my strike with a follow-up of Omni Negate. I missed that a lot, which I didn't have the option yesterday. But yeah, this is huge. And then you have your triple Cosmic, because backward X, and it's good against Eldritch. Yeah, which is really good. Because your deck is like, I guess, main deck tailored for like combo decks. You have so many hand traps, so you need like ways to like play against backrow decks, which is why I played heavy Storm Duster and evenly matched, because like once you know you're playing against a backrow deck, then you just take all your hand traps, put into this, and then you should be okay, right? Because they can't OTK you because it's the trap deck. So then you just take a slower pace to the game, and these are like insane because it's a +1, and these are the one. This is how you thrive off of the Omni Negate, because you're resourcing your opponent by having these blowout cards, right? So you one card gets rid of multiples, and that's what's huge with these type of decks. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, what the hell? What's the Solemns? I was main decking Solemns as well. When I knew I went first, they're not sleep. Well, when I knew I went first, I played these. Like I was just have triple Solemn, triple Strike, and then Omni Negate. Like it's like what the fuck? It was so good. But I think missing this card was quite huge. I really missed this part of the deck. I really missed it. I really did. So I might put it back in. But Phantasme is like, that's kind of one of the reason why I cut it, because of Phantasme. Like, I would always have a monster, so it would be kind of odd having this and Phantasme in the same deck. But I'm not sure if it'll just work out. Of course, and you have your extra deck, right? You have your links, right? That lets you draw so much. Your Auroradon, your blocker, and your Link Cross. Like this is your links. And so basically that's there to climb into that. Basically, these two climb into that. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you climb. And then of course you have your Formula Synchron because it's part of the sequence. Marcher, part of the sequence, part of the setup. This lets you draw into your more stuff, more hand traps. And this is like your toolboxy things that you can do. This is for blowouts, right? And then this is for like cards that can't be targeted, which is annoying. So this is pretty good about that, and it's good for OTKs. And then Omega, another toolbox card, and then another like just to get over big beefy monsters that your starters can't get over. This is like the buff guy. Like, oh yeah, I'll take care of this guy. And of course, this deck would not be the deck without Stardust Dragon. Oh my god, amazing, simply amazing. This deck's super fun, man. Go ahead and try it out. I'm really liking the Phantasmes for sure. Phantasme was like one of the MVPs for sure. Like I was like, oh my god, this is so good. Like it just shuffled the Stardust so much. Like, oh, not bad at all, dude. But yeah, that's basically the deck. Go ahead and try it out. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you feel like. Okay, I feel like changing this. Like this is not cool, but yeah. That's gonna be it. Hopefully enjoy the video. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.